Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the Bears versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Thursday night special of week number 5. Before I get into this video, I'd like to ask that if you guys do end up enjoying this breakdown of the Bears versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, to please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below, because not only is it free, I put out content every single day to help you guys win that 2020 Fantasy Football Championship. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The Chicago Bears win this game 20-19. That's right. I said it correctly. 20-19. Tom Brady, Dementia Tom, whatever you'd like to call him, motherfucker thought it was third down when it was fourth down. What the actual fuck was Tom Brady doing? This was hilarious. Big Dick Nicholas Foles with another W over Tom Brady. What a game this was. Now, not really all that good of a game, if I'm being honest with you. This was kind of a boring watch, but for the storyline, it is absolutely hilarious. It's so funny. Nick Foles legitimately owns Tom Brady. It's like Eli Manning and Nick Foles form an Eiffel Tower over Tom Brady. For fantasy-wise, though, I will give this a legitimate breakdown. I just won't laugh at all the fact that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost, or that Tom Brady lost to Nick Foles again. While it's funny, there's definitely some real fantasy analysis to come inside of this game. 9-inch Nick lays the pipe 30 for 42 for 243 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 INT for the Chicago Bears. Now, the funniest part about Nick Foles for fantasy football is he's either going to be like a top 10 quarterback or a completely unusable quarterback in fantasy football. This motherfucker either looks like Aaron Rodgers in prime time, or he looks like kissin' titties Mitchell Trubisky, and there's legitimately no in between. In this game, the first half of the game, this guy looked like he couldn't make a fucking read if he was reading Dr. Seuss's children's book. In the second half, he looked like he could do some complex reading of some 3rd century English piece. That's how it looked. Nick Foles is the most hot streak player you have ever seen. When he's hot, like it's NBA Jam rules, this guy's throwing dimes all across the field. And then when he's not hot at all, he's ice cold and can't even look 5 feet in front of him and hit a guy that's standing right in front of him, which is just absolutely hilarious, which is why Nick Foles is the most confusing player to own in fantasy football, because in a 1-quarterback league, you're pretty much never going to have to start Nick Foles unless he runs on a hot streak. Right now, I wouldn't consider this a hot streak yet, but he did play quite well in this game. Didn't play too good against Indy, but played very well up against the Atlanta Falcons. So maybe if he starts running up these wins, getting a bunch of wins in a row, he's going to catch fire where you can actually pick him up in fantasy football. But as of right now, I don't really want to be adding Nick Foles. For the running game, though, of the Chicago Bears, David Montgomery, 10 for 29 and 1 touchdown. Which, hilariously enough, we are in week 5 of the 2020 NFL season, and that is the first rushing touchdown the Bears have scored all year. David Montgomery also was involved in the pass-catching game. 8 targets for 7 receptions and 30 yards. David Montgomery had a very good fantasy football game this week. Now, a lot of this game is actually contributed to Cordero Patterson. Now, he doesn't get any fantasy points for it, but his return, I don't even know if they show it on here, but his return game was unreal. 3 returns for 119 yards. This guy is simply built different. The Chicago Bears receiving. Allen Robinson puts up another amazing game. 16 targets, I should say, 10 receptions, and 90 total yards. Now, I know he didn't end up finding the end zone, but this guy is a target hog in Chicago. Speaking of hog, 9-inch Nick, the guy with the fucking huge hog, was throwing the ball to this guy at an unprecedented rate. When Nick Foles is in the game, Allen Robinson is a must start on a weekly basis. Even when Nick Foles isn't looking good, Allen Robinson just goes ahead and catches the ball anyways. This guy's catch radius is a zillion yards around him. That's why he's able to produce with guys the likes of Mitch Trubisky, Blake Bortles, and now 9-inch Nick Foles. Allen Robinson is a must start on a weekly basis. Jimmy G finds the end zone yet again, 3 for 33 and 1 total touchdown in this game. Jimmy Graham, also a guy that I feel like you can start now on a weekly basis at tight end, even if it does feel a little bit dirty. Dementia Tom, 25 of 41 for 253 yards and 1 total tutty in that game. Brady had points where he looked really good in this game. Deep down the stretch when they were losing and they had to come back into the game, that final drive before Tom Brady just magically forgot what down it was, he was looking very good. But he had streaks in this game where he was just missing guys. There was guys open, and there was a couple dropped interceptions from the Chicago Bears where Tom Brady's fantasy day, while I didn't think would be that good, was kind of worse than I honestly even expected. Ronald Jones, though, 17 of 106 in this game. Now, Leonard Fournette did get the start, but didn't end up getting a single snap. So I'm very sorry to the guy who I told to start, Leonard Fournette. But the problem was right before the game, they kind of announced that he's going to be more of a decoy. The only reason why they activated him is because they don't have enough running backs. So hopefully that person saw that and didn't start him. Otherwise, I am very sorry. Tom Brady, 3 carries for 0 total yards. So he really didn't do anything in the rushing game, just did it to get the first down. He ended up getting that. Tyler Johnson, 4 for 61. Who the fuck is that guy? 3 for 52 for Rob Gronkowski. So that's probably the most receptions he's had all season combined in one game. Gronk did look very involved in this game, which is nice to see for the people who own Gronk in fantasy football, but I still would not really be super confident rolling this guy out on a weekly basis. Cameron Brate, 5 for 44. Mike Evans, 5 for 41 and 1 touchdown. He had another touchdown that he could have potentially scored that was ended up dropped. And then Ronald Jones, 3 for 19 on 5 targets. So Ronald Jones really did have a good game. When Leonard Fournette is not playing, Ronald Jones, in my opinion, is going to just have to be a must start. You know for a fact when Fournette is out that Jones is going to be getting the carries, but once Fournette comes back, that's the problem with Bruce Arians. The second that Leonard Fournette is activated, he does some type of mental gymnastics to will the way of Leonard Fournette magically getting a million targets or a million rushes and targets. Then the next week it'll randomly be Ronald Jones. You have no idea what to do. It's a carousel of confusion in Tampa Bay. So when one of those guys is injured, it's very easy to tell what to do. But besides that, it's a pure fade situation. Right now, if I had Rojo and someone was willing to trade anything for him, I would probably go ahead and ship him right off my team. So again, the final notes of this game is that Tampa Bay may be a bit fraudulent. Nick Foles pretty much owns Tom Brady's fucking whole life. I mean, I really have no idea what Tom Brady was thinking in the 4th fucking quarter of the game. That final play, how did he think it was 3rd down when it was really 4th down? Like, how does a guy that's been won fucking so many Super Bowls think that? I really have no idea. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will end up making the playoffs and will probably end up winning the goddamn Super Bowl because that's just what Tom Brady does. But right now, it's looking a bit bleak for you Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans. And for all the Bears fans, you're looking pretty good right now. Again, Allen Robinson looking like a guy that you must start on a weekly basis. And David Montgomery, if he can continue to get a lot of targets in the receiving game, this is something we haven't seen of David Montgomery before. Why is that? That's because Tariq Cohen was stealing all of his targets. Tariq Cohen ends up getting hurt. Terrible situation. But that does help out David Montgomery. And if we see him getting like 5+ targets every single week, David Montgomery might be a lock to potentially even be a top 12 running back on some weeks due to the amount of volume that he's been getting recently. I really did like David Montgomery somewhat this week, and he definitely outperformed my expectation strictly based off of the receiving game. So thank you guys all for watching this video. Let me know down below what you guys thought about this game. Did you think it was hilarious like me that Nick Foles legitimately just railroads Tom Brady all the time? Like, isn't that just hilarious? If you guys are Bucs fans, I'm very sorry for this one because it was probably not a fun watch, but I hope that you guys ended up enjoying this. I hope that you found a bit of information here, even though a lot of this video is just making fun of old man Tom Brady. I think that you guys did get a little bit of knowledge here. So thank you guys all for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of your guys' day. I know it's late at night. I'm going to see you guys with a banger right in the morning, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a great rest of your guys' day. I love you all. Goodbye.